And mics are good?
Yeah, mics sound good to me.
Perfect.
Cool. Good.
Sounds good to me.
So, Julie, since you've been hired in 2016, the Stingers before that hadn't been RSCQ champions since 2005. Since then, you've gone to the RSCQ. You've won the RSCQ 4 times. You've won the national championship twice, and once in 2022, once in 2024. Obviously, you have the 2024 season where you have I heard on interviews that you don't like it to be called perfect.
Yeah.
But you did have an undefeated record in 2024, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. When you've had a top scoring offense every single year, at least within the top 2 or 3 every single year, and you haven't had a losing record either since you took over. Mm-hmm. When you look back at your time since taking over the job in 2016, what would be one of the main pillars behind the Stingers' sustained success?
I think for us, it got back to getting to a culture that we can be proud of every day, and a culture that allowed us to thrive and to make sure that we had accountability, but a lot of fun also. Mm-hmm. And so for our culture, it's team first. And it's funny because everyone says it. Now you see everywhere, it's on people's logos and T-shirts because it sounds good, it feels good. But now everyone really focuses on trying to live it every day. And I think that's the big thing, is how do you set a culture of what we all know and expect, but then how do we really work hard to live it every single day, because it's not always easy to. So our culture is really made up of 3 things. 1, can we give full effort every day? Everything is earned, and that came from Les Lawton, our former head coach. Mm-hmm. But we have to work for everything that we want as a team, as individuals. So can we put in a full effort and make sure that we're pushing every day? The other one is having a positive attitude. And that's not only cheering and laughing and, having a smile and great energy. That's right. A part of it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it's just how do we see different scenarios in a positive way versus a negative. Mm-hmm. Everything, it can be either way. I'm really busy as a student athlete and this is a tough week. I can come to the rink and say, oh man, I wish I was somewhere else because I have so much on my plate. Or I can say, hey, yeah, I have a lot on my plate, but now I get an hour and a half with my teammates and I get to go and do something I really love and enjoy. Right. So how do we shift our focus to the positive? And the last one is accepting and owning our roles. One of the hardest parts of being at university is that you have rosters that are bigger than what you can dress. And that's tough because not everyone gets opportunity to dress every game, but we really try our best to let everyone know that everyone is a valuable part of our team. They can contribute to our success in so many different ways, from practice to games, to on ice to off ice. And so it's a way for us to recognize every individual for what they bring and what they give. And knowing that they get the same love and support as, someone out of lineup gets the same love and support as someone that's in the lineup or playing in a lot of scenarios, right. Because everyone's a valuable part of our team. So our culture was probably one of the key and most important things to build. And as you recruit more players, you share with them. Like now, everyone that comes to our program, we share with them as prospective student athletes what we believe in. And then when we actually get together, we talk about it as a team. And we say, this is how it's living. Or, we're a little bit off right now, so this is how we can be better.
Can you speak a little bit more to that, the recruiting process? When you're looking for players to add on to your program, what are some things that you look for in those athletes, not just on the ice, but also off the ice, to fit that culture that you've instilled over the years?
Yeah, recruiting's a huge part of it. Like, you want to cultivate your team now, but you also know that you graduate players. Right. That's a sad part too, but you do want them to go on to great things. Right. So the next group of players that come into your program, you want them to understand what our culture is. So what we're looking for is twofold. For sure, you want talented players. So when you're going and scouting games, we get a chance to look at different players and say, hey, they pop out and this is a need of our team, whether it's a defensive element that we need, an offensive center or wing, whatever it might be. But this is a player that can play, and okay, let's start to have conversations. So the next one is, how do you have a conversation with the player? Share our culture, see if it aligns with their values and their beliefs and what they want in their experience. And then for sure, we speak with their coaches as well, because we want a perspective of what the character is. We can get a chance to look at their hockey style and get a pretty good sense of things. But the coaches are going to let us know what their character's like. And that's always a question that we ask, because we want great people in our locker room. Right. Great talented people is the best thing ever. But you want great people, because you got to
put the puck in the back of the net.
Exactly, at the end of the day. Yeah. So you want both, though, because you want us to be able to strive and reach some really lofty goals as a hockey team. But you can only do that if you have great people in the locker room pushing in the right direction.
How's that dialogue with some of the leadership that's actually on the team when you're bringing in those new members of the team, and when they're integrated into, the culture that you've instilled, within the locker room? Is there any kind of dialogue between, the coaching staff, the recruiting staff, and the leaders that are already on the team?
Yeah, absolutely. And the recruitment process, like right now we're going through it in a lot of ways. We're bringing people on official visits where they get a chance to skate with us, be in our locker room. And we just say, make them feel welcome, but also share who we are with them. You don't have to be something we're not, because the last thing you want to do is recruit someone and they're like, oh, this isn't what I thought Concordia was. No, provide them who we are, show them the experience of what it's like to be a Stinger for a day. So that's the first part. And that's really driven by the players, like in the locker room setting, on the ice. But as far as once we have players committed and they're coming in their first day, their first weeks with us, a lot of it is our players that help to make them feel welcome and make them feel a part of the team. It's really important for us that we don't call incoming players rookies, because the connotation for rookies for me in the past used to be, okay, a hierarchy. The rookies are kind of the lowest level. They pick up the pucks, they load the bus, they take out the garbage or bring out down the laundry. But for us, it's a first year, because that's where they're coming in.
Is that what you call them, just first year?
Yeah, first year. Okay. Yeah, this is a first year player. This is a fifth year. Like, I'm in my third year. And you say it that way, so it's not a hierarchy. It's just a recognition of, where they're coming into our program and what supports they need. But everyone has the same responsibilities of helping out in the team. So if I'm by the puck bucket at the end of practice as a coach, then I bend down and I pick up pucks. And if it's our captain or our first year, then they'll do the same. So I think creating a culture where everyone is on that same level allows us then to push in the same direction. But then on top of that is allowing people to have their own voices, right? Encouraging younger players to speak up. It's not just the veterans that are talking. With that said, the veterans probably have more confidence to talk, but I think it's making sure that our younger players know that they're a really important part of this team. So in any way that possible, our veterans do a really, really great job of doing that, of making sure that they want to be a Stinger, they appreciate it, but they also are a really important part of it, even if it's their second week a part of the program.
Right. And, we just spoke about the sustaining everything, right? Achieving success is one thing, but sustaining it like you've been able to do over the last half decade, particularly in terms of championships and whatnot.
For sure.
Can you speak a little bit to that? How much more difficult, or just what your experience is in terms of what goes into sustaining that success, even and keeping, in terms of players, keeping that hunger to keep coming back for more, even when you've gone to the top, right?
Yeah, and I think the first time we won in 2022, I remember emailing a couple coaches I know that had success and won national championships and multiple. And I just asked, is there anything that we should think about heading into the next season?
Right.
Because we'd never done it. I'd never won and then gone back to a program and tried to win again the next year. And they said, no, you just kind of make sure you stick to who you are. And that's exactly what we did. And I think that's what helped us from 2022 to 2023 to really transition and have another great year there. And we ended up losing in the national championship game, but I think we can be really proud of what our team did that season, how prepared they were, how hungry they were every practice to get better. And I think that's what we try to do every day. And so, if anything, last season, I think we all stepped back from that season, and not because of the end result. We came in, fourth in the nation, which is still tremendous. But I think we can always step back and say, we probably didn't get everything out of ourselves last year for lots of reasons. And so we had a good gut check last spring. We had a great team meeting. And our veteran players, they'd said, okay, this is what we want to make sure that we change to get back to our culture and really, giving our best every single day and really owning that. And then to their credit, they did an unbelievable job this summer and they came back really fit. And then our incoming players did a great job integrating in the team and coming prepared. So we've had a great preseason already where we've learned, we've stayed focused, we've pushed hard in practice, we've challenged them a lot, and they've risen to that occasion. So I'm really proud of the growth we've had in 6-7 weeks together, and I think that's going to be a continual growth throughout the entire season together.
Kylan was a part of your staff for the whole run, national championships, the success in the RSCQ. Could you speak to not necessarily what you lost, but how you manage such a prominent part of that success, leaving the locker room How do you manage that as the head coach of this team and just in other aspects of the roster and just the process?
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you lose an important staff member, it's always filling a bit of a void to start. And Carolyn's an incredible coach. She's a mentor, a role model, and someone that gave a lot of care and love to this program. And a lot of our players, the same way, really love her as a coach and a person. So anytime you have someone leave like that, it's tough, right? And there is a little bit of, okay, what now, to some extent. But like everything, like we hope that we put in a lot of pieces in place and a great structure, that it's not only about one person that allows us to be successful. And I say the same thing about myself. Like, it's not only me that makes this program successful, it's all of our staff, it's all of our players, and everyone has a really big influence on our success. And so for sure, Carolyn is missed, and she's a huge part of it. And we still ask her questions and get some feedback, and she still sends some notes to our team because she loves it too, and she loves this program. But as we then shift, we have opportunities for other people to fill in some great roles. And we were able to hire Chris Bones as our assistant coach, and he's done an unbelievable job. And what I've really enjoyed about Chris also is that he didn't come in saying, oh, I have to be Carolyn. He just said, okay, those are big shoes, but I'm going to come in and I'm going to interject like who he is and his style and his knowledge into our environment to help us make us better. And that's what he's been able to do. And we still have some awesome coaches in Devin Thompson, an alumni of our program, Bridget Laguniere, an alumni of our program that came back and is coaching, and Tracy Levine, another alumni. So I'm looking at all our players right now that are graduating. I'm like, just get ready until I ask you to come back. But it's great, and we've been really blessed with Carolyn. And but I'm blessed to surround myself with some really, really great people, from coaches to support staff, and the players in this room. Like I said it to them right before Thanksgiving weekend, that I'm really grateful for the life I've gotten a chance to build here in Montreal. And Concordia is a really special place, but the people in this locker room and on this team have made it a really special place for me.
Can you speak a little bit more to the process of hiring Chris in terms of, obviously you guys knew that you can't just go out and look for Carolyn, because Carolyn is one of one, right?
Yeah.
Could you speak a little bit maybe to the interview process and what you wanted out of him, and if he's delivered on that as so far?
Yeah, I think for us, the process was really quick when we knew that Carolyn would kind of be joining Hockey Canada, and it wasn't going to be possible just with the time away to be able to have the same support for our players. So it was important for her to step away for the year so that we could fill it with someone that could be able to help us immediately. Right. And so we opened up the search and had a lot of great applicants. And so very quickly you have to go through them and try to filter through resumes, who might be the best fit based on what our needs are right now. What's the experience of the person? Yes. But then, how can they complement myself, but also challenge and bring areas that I'm not as strong in? And so, able to have a great interview with Chris, where he was really impressive and really consistent in the way of how he presented himself, of being a people person and knowing that his leadership style is through people, which is totally fits who I am. Right. But then on top of that, he recently has coached in the Ottawa area, which is, a really, really talented area of young, like women's hockey players that are looking to play university hockey. So he already had a pretty good sense of what the pool of hockey players are. And that was important too, because not only is his character and his culture checked out, his hockey abilities and his ability to coach and give details and things like that seemed awesome. We checked in with his references, same thing, and they did a lot of really great things to say about him, and really consistent about his character that we were looking at. But then we also, on top of that, the bonus is he knew how to scout and recruit already. So that transition has been really easy. So he started on a Tuesday, and I sent him on a Thursday to recruit in Toronto. And then the next week he was back, 2-3 practices, and I sent him again to Toronto to scout again. So he didn't get a weekend off. I think his first day off was last weekend, right? But he's been incredible, so willing to do anything. Great energy, great person, connects really well with our players, is able to give feedback in a way that our players are really receptive to it. So I think if we're going to have to transition as quickly as we did at the end of August to someone that can make an immediate impact, Chris has been the perfect fit. So we have a lot of fun together already, and that's a big part of it as well. Great.
Talking about the last decade, you've been here for 9 years. Let's just say it's been a decade. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, technically 2014, but I was an assistant.
Okay. As head coach, like
Yes.
you've been at the helm since 2016, give or take 9 years, it's a decade.
Yes.
We've talked about what that decade's looked like. What does the next decade or so look like for Stingers hockey?
Yeah. I think that's the fun part. Although we know the rhythm of what a season looks like generally, right? Like it's based on the academic year. You can understand this is training camp, these are preseason, this is our season. Like every season's a new adventure. And so I think for us, it's making sure that we stay with the mindset and the focus of continuing to build our culture every single day, continuing to add people to our team that are going to foster that. And then if you do, then whatever happens as far as like, our ability to win games or not, you have the foundation that we need to then be able to turn corners, to be able to move in the right direction. Because there's always going to be years, and we've had a really big chunk of successful years of winning a lot of hockey, but everything at times, maybe there's going to be a year where we don't. But if we have the right people in the locker room that want to learn, want to grow, and put in the effort, then there's no doubt that time period is going to be shorter than not. And so I think for us, the next 10 years will still be focused on culture. It'll be focused on getting the best people, yes, and talented players in this locker room. Right. So that we can continue to develop. But the university game is evolving and moving at a fast rate. So we have to make sure we evolve within that. In the way we recruit, but then also just the way we teach and connect with our players as they get younger and they have different things that allow them to be motivated or different ways that connect with them more. And I think that's what's important for myself as I get older, is how do I continue to be able to connect with our younger players who are, managing different stresses that I had to, right? And what's their reality, but then what can I push them to still within that reality?
Right. Part of that, you've had so much time building up this like success. We talk about the long term, more in terms of just over the next short term, like just this year, next year, just the shorter term future. How are you feeling about the program? You've had success like so recently, but how do you feel about that, like moving into this season and beyond that in the shorter term?
Yeah, this season I'm really excited. I think one of the biggest challenges from last year is that we didn't reach our full potential. And so our returners took that to heart. I took that to heart because that's my responsibility too. So I think all of us took a lot of ownership and accountability, and we made changes, we made shifts, and our veteran crew has been amazing. From our leadership group that was elected by the players, but all of our players, they came back and they're ready to push. So I think this season is going to be awesome. Really have enjoyed ourselves so much, and we haven't won every preseason game, but that's okay. But the energy and the mindset is in a different place where we're like, okay, let's grow. Did we give our best? Are we pushing to get better? Can we be patient with the process that we're in? And from this preseason, we've done that really well. And so now what's important for the rest of the season is just to still understand that we're still in the process, right? We're still in the journey, that we're going to have some moments this fall that are going to be great and moments where we're going to need, to realign, or we're going to need to grow, and it's going to look whatever the way it is, but can we still take positive steps to then, by the end of the season, be at our max potential and be the team that we're able to be, and that's what we're shooting for. And then when we get there, then I think we give ourselves a really good chance for success in the end. But now sitting here in October, we have steps to take until we get there. But as far as the foundation of our mindset, the foundation of the work ethic, and the connectedness of the players from all the conversations we've had, we're in a really good starting place. And now it's cultivating that every day moving forward.
U Sports came out with some power rankings recently. You guys haven't played a regular season game yet.
Yeah.
You're number 5. Instant reaction on that ranking.
Makes sense.
Makes sense?
Yeah. We finished last year at 4, and a lot of times they take last year's rankings to then go into this one. Yeah, but it makes sense. Like the ones that are ranked above us, they're great teams. And there's a lot of teams that are ranked below us or not even in the rankings that are good. So, but I think for us, we always talk about like, it's just a preseason ranking. It's a ranking right now, but no one has really earned or proved anything at this point. Yes, some teams have played some games and that's fine, and that will affect a bit of their rankings. But the majority of us haven't, or we haven't played the bulk of our season. So, in the past, we've come out and sometimes been number 1 or 2, and we say the same thing, and we'll say the same thing to our team this year is, what does this mean to people? And they'll, say something. I said, doesn't mean anything to me right now, because as far as I'm concerned, we're ranked number 1, we're ranked 5, we're not in the rankings. We haven't earned anything yet. And it's what we do daily. How do we stay the path, stay the course? And then as we get towards the end, do we put ourselves in a place to play great playoff hockey and then earn a right to get from the semifinals to the RCQ finals and to national championships. So rankings are nice. It's kind of a feel-good thing, but for me, I try not to pay too much attention to that at this moment.
What would you define as success for this season?
That's a good question. At university, I think there's a lot of layers to it. Okay. I think one of them, as our job, is to make sure that our players develop and that they succeed as people and they succeed as student athletes. So that for me is a way that we're successful. Winning a championship, yes, that's success. But not only just winning, but winning it or getting to the end and knowing that we got the most out of our development that season and playing the best hockey we can at the end of the season. Like for me, that's success. And then that might lead to losing in the end. That might lead to winning. But if you really feel, or we really feel, that we did everything possible to be as prepared and to be at our best at the end of the season, then that is success for me.
So from what I can gather, you had spoken that last season we hadn't reached our full potential.
Yeah.
From what I can gather, what you're telling me, would you say that success is just not having to ask yourself that question at the end of the year?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's getting to the end and making sure and knowing wholeheartedly we did everything to prepare, and we were at our best when it mattered the most. And the thing about sports is that doesn't always mean that you win. So that's why I'm sometimes really like in between saying, yeah, success is winning a national championship, winning our championship, because I think you can have an incredible season and not win a championship. I think someone can have an unbelievable career in youth sports hockey or university hockey or whatever it is and never won a championship. And it doesn't undermine the success that they had as a player, the success they had on the impact on the people around them or in the community. So yes, that is one way to have success, and it's nice to win. We like to win. But did we get to our best in the end? And did we reach that together? And if so, then I think we can have a lot of pride in what we've done as a group.
Looking back over your time, over your tenure, if you were in your shoes right now in 2016 and you told yourself what you'd had accomplished so far with the program, do you think that you would have been sad? Have you achieved what you set out to achieve initially when you took on the position?
Yes, and probably more.
Okay.
Because I knew we had a great thing here at Concordia. We had awesome support from our university, and I think sometimes, and we had a tradition of a lot of success, right? Like everything, sometimes things are cyclical. Some things pop up and things happen where you go through some periods where we're not winning as many hockey games, but it doesn't take away from the traditions and the foundations that are there from alumni that came well in advance to us. So yes, I knew what I was stepping into, but didn't know how long it would take. Right? I think that's part of the process, and it's still. I think back to that first year when we took over, because Les had been here for so long. Right. He was 30 plus years as our head coach and loved by the community, and he did everything from athletic director to head coach to recruiting and everything in between. So the first year, it took me so long to do the most simple things like, how do I book ice, right? Who do I speak to? Do we have a schedule? Do we have buses? Do we have, how do we do kind of just the admin process, right? Like some of those basics.
Not just the whiteboard stuff.
No, whiteboard stuff was easy. Even now, that's the hardest part is it's me just taking the time to step back and have time to do all the administrative behind the scenes things that help us function properly. Because the on-ice stuff is kind of the easy, fun stuff. And no offense to those that like admin and accounting, but that's my least fun things. But it is part of it.
Right.
And so when we can stay on top of that, then we can help our program run really well. But I think, I think some of the things that fell into place in a lot of ways is that we continue to have awesome support from our athletic directors. Currently, Darcy Ryan's unbelievable. President Carr has been incredible. And we've had a lot of people also step up and start to donate and support to our program. And I think that's something that, in general, in women's sports, we have to continue to improve. Because before that, even playing in the States and growing up there, giving for the female programs, the women's programs, typically have been less than the men's advanced programs, right, for various reasons. And it was no different here. So then now we had some alumni giving a bit more. And then we had people that were outside our alumni group that saw what we were doing and believed in supporting our female athletes and started to donate to allow us to do things like add additional trips, get a chance to take a trip to British Columbia, add different resources from leadership training to nutrition,
So
to
there's
just
been
post
improvement.
okay. So much improvement. And so it's been fun, like in those 9-10 years, like our ability to provide more resources to our players has really grown tremendously. And it's from the university support, but then exterior support too, and sponsoring our program and donating and seeing the value and giving back to our players. So for that, like, I'm really grateful, because maybe some of the progress would have been a little bit more stalled if we didn't have that support, if we didn't have those avenues of extra finances to be able to support areas of growth or recovery that are making a real big difference for our team.
Final thought. If one thing that you want that a player to take away from being a player under your tutelage, what would that be?
For me, it's can you live team first in everything that you do, right? We talk about team first in our culture here, and it is a part of our hockey team, but it's honestly every team we go to, we're going to need that, to have a positive attitude, to work hard and to know your value in the role that you can give, right? And our roles are going to change in our work environments and our family environments and our friends group. But honestly, if we can live that, it's really, really powerful. And what's really, really fun for me is to see alumni that go off into the real world, and I get texts from them or calls and about certain scenarios, about team first, about, hey, some people have no clue about this. I go, I know. It's not that easy to live, right? And but there is something about going through it together in an environment where we have love and support, that people can grow in that. Because yes, we're all, I love it, and sometimes I'm bad at it, right? We're all going to have moments as humans where we're not good at something, even if we believe in it. But then we catch ourselves quicker when it is a part of who we are, and then we're able to get back to that and let it be a driving force. So I think it's understanding the importance of team first in our life always. And then the last part is know the value that you bring to every environment. Like, we have value, so don't be shy to bring that value and know your value in the places that you go.
Well, Julie, thank you very much.
No, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Best of luck this season.
Thank
and
you.
moving forward.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome job.